CDL General Knowledge 2025. Pass your CDL permit exam on the first try. Are you preparing for your commercial driver's license CDL General Knowledge test? This is part 1 of a 3-part video series covering questions 1 to 80 out of 250 total practice questions. Watch all 3 videos multiple times before taking your actual DMV test to help ensure you pass on your first attempt. If you're new to this channel, feel free to subscribe for more CDL test tips, practice questions, and trucking career advice. Let's get started and put you in the driver's seat. You are driving on a straight level highway at 50 miles per hour. There are no vehicles in front of you. Suddenly, a tire blows out on your vehicle. What should you do first? A. Stay off the brake until the vehicle has slowed down. B. Begin light braking. C. Begin emergency braking. Correct answer: stay off the brake until the vehicle has slowed down. You are driving a new truck with a manual transmission. What gear will you probably have to use to take a long, steep downhill grade? A. The same gear you would use to climb the hill. B. A lower gear than you would use to climb the hill. C. A higher gear than you would use to climb the hill. Correct answer: a lower gear than you would use to climb the hill. You are checking your wheels and rims for a pre-trip inspection. Which of these statements is true? A. Rust around wheel nuts may mean that they are loose. B. A vehicle can be safely driven with one missing lug nut on a wheel. C. Mismatched lock rings can be used on the same vehicle. Correct answer: rust around wheel nuts may mean that they are loose. You are checking your tires for a pre-trip inspection. Which of these statements is true? A. Tires of mismatched sizes should not be used together in the same vehicle. B. Radial and bias ply tires can be used together on the same vehicle. C. A 32-inch tread depth is safe for the front tires. Correct answer: tires of mismatched sizes should not be used together in the same vehicle. If a straight vehicle, not trailer or articulation, goes into front wheel skid, it will A. Slide sideways and spin out. B. Go straight ahead even if the steering wheel is turned. C. Go straight ahead, but will turn if you turn the steering wheel. Correct answer: go straight ahead even if the steering wheel is turned. If you need to leave the road in a traffic emergency, you should A. Try to get all the wheels off the pavement. B. Avoid braking until your speed has dropped to about 20 miles per hour. C. Avoid a shoulder because most shoulders will not support a large vehicle. Correct answer: avoid braking until your speed has dropped to about 20 miles per hour. Which of these statements about certain types of cargo is true? A. An unstable load, such as hanging meat or livestock, can require extra caution on curves. B. Oversized load can be hauled without a special permit during times when the roads are not busy. C. When liquids are hauled, the tank should always be loaded totally full. Correct answer: an unstable load, such as hanging meat or livestock, can require extra caution on curves. According to the driver's manual, why should you limit the use of your horn? A. It can startle other drivers. B. The horn is not a good way to let others know you are there. C. You should keep a firm grip on the steering wheel with both hands at all times. Correct answer: it can startle other drivers. You do not have a hazardous materials endorsement on your commercial driver's license. You are asked to deliver hazardous materials in a placarded vehicle. You should A. Refuse to haul the load. B. Haul the load, but only to the nearest place where a driver with a hazardous materials endorsement can. C. Haul the load, but file a report with the Department of Transportation after the trip. Correct answer: refuse to haul the load. Which of these statements about staying alert to drive is true? A. A half-hour break for coffee will do more to keep you alert than a half-hour nap. B. If you must stop to take a nap, it should be at a truck stop or other rest area, and never on the side of the road. C. Sleep is the only thing that can overcome fatigue. Correct answer: sleep is the only thing that can overcome fatigue. Your vehicle has hydraulic brakes. While traveling on a level road, you press the brake pedal and find that it goes to the floor. Which of these statements is true? A. Pumping the brake pedal may bring the pressure up so you can stop the vehicle. B. The parking brake will not work either because it is a part of the same hydraulic system. C. Shifting into neutral will help to slow the vehicle. Correct answer: pumping the brake pedal may bring the pressure up so you can stop the vehicle. You are driving a vehicle at 55 miles per hour on dry pavement. About how much total stopping distance will you need to bring it to a stop? A. Twice the length of the vehicle. B. Half the length of a football field. C. The length of a football field. Correct answer: the length of a football field. Which statement about cold weather driving is true? A. An engine cannot overheat when the weather is very cold. B. Windshield washer antifreeze should be used. C. Exhaust system leaks are less dangerous in cold weather. Correct answer: windshield washer antifreeze should be used. When driving at night, you should A. Look to the left side of the road when a vehicle is coming toward you. B. Adjust your speed to keep your stopping distance within your sight distance. C. Dim your lights within 300 feet of an oncoming vehicle. Correct answer: adjust your speed to keep your stopping distance within your sight distance. Which of these statements about downshifting is true? A. When you downshift for a curve, you should do so before you enter the curve. B. When you downshift for a hill, you should do so after you start down the hill. C. When double clutching, you should let the RPMs decrease while the clutch is released and the shift lever. Correct answer: when you downshift for a curve, you should do so before you enter the curve. For your safety, when setting out reflective triangles you should A. Hold the triangles between yourself and oncoming traffic. B. Keep them out of sight while you walk to the spots where you set them out. C. Turn on your flashes. Correct answer: hold the triangles between yourself and oncoming traffic. As the blood alcohol concentration, BAC, goes up, what happens? A. The drinker more clearly sees how alcohol is affecting him or her. B. The effects of alcohol decrease. C. Judgment and self-control are affected. Correct answer: judgment and self-control are affected. Which of these is good thing to remember about using mirrors? A. You should look at a mirror for several seconds at a time. B. Convex mirrors make things look larger and closer than they really are. C. There are blind spots that your mirror cannot show. Correct answer: there are blind spots that your mirror cannot show. Hydroplaning. A. Only occurs when there is a lot of water. B. Cannot occur when driving through a puddle. C. Is more likely if tire pressure is low. Correct answer: is more likely if tire pressure is low. If you are being tailgated, you should A. Increase your following distance. B. Flash your brake lights. C. Signal the tailgater when it is safe to pass you. Correct answer: increase your following distance. A key principle to remember about loading cargo is to keep the load A. to the front, B. to the rear, C. balanced in the cargo area. Correct answer: balanced in the cargo area. How far should a driver look ahead of the vehicle while driving? A. 5-8 seconds. B. 12-15 seconds. C. 18-21 seconds. Correct answer: 12-15 seconds. How do you correct a rear wheel acceleration skid? A. Apply more power to the wheels. B. Stop accelerating. C. Downshift. Correct answer: stop accelerating. The purpose of the retarders is to A. Help slow the vehicle while driving and reduce brake wear. B. Apply extra braking power to the non-drive axles. C. Help prevent skids. Correct answer: help slow the vehicle while driving and reduce brake wear. Controlled braking. A. Can be used when you are turning sharply. B. Involves locking the wheels for a short period of time. C. Is used to keep a vehicle in a straight line when braking. Correct answer: is used to keep a vehicle in a straight line when braking. Which of these is a good thing to do when steering to avoid a crash? A. Apply the brakes while turning. B. Steer with one hand so that you can turn the wheel more quickly. C. Don't turn any more than needed to clear what is in your way. Correct answer: don't turn any more than needed to clear what is in your way. You should stop driving. A. After 5 hours. B. After 9 hours. C. Whenever you become sleepy. Correct answer: whenever you become sleepy. Which of these is not a good rule to follow when caring for an injured person at an accident scene? A. If a qualified person is helping them, stay out of the way unless asked to assist. B. Keep an injured person cool. C. Move the severely injured person if there is danger due to fire or passing traffic. Correct answer: keep an injured person cool. You should avoid driving through deep puddles or flowing water. However, if you must, which of these steps can help to keep your brakes working? A. Gently putting on the brakes while driving through the water. B. Applying hard pressure on both the brake pedal and accelerator after coming out of the water. C. Turning on your brake heater. Correct answer: gently putting on the brakes while driving through the water. Which of these statements about drugs is true? A. A driver can use any prescription drug while driving. B. Amphetamines, pep pills or bennies, can be used to help the driver stay alert. C. The use of drugs can lead to an accident and/or arrest. Correct answer: the use of drugs can lead to an accident and/or arrest. Which of these is a good thing to remember when crossing or entering traffic with a heavy vehicle? A. Heavy vehicles need larger gaps in traffic than cars. B. The best way to cross the traffic is to pull the vehicle pathway across the road and block one lane while waiting. C. Because heavy vehicles are easy to see, you can count on other drivers to move out of your way or slow down for. Correct answer: heavy vehicles need larger gaps in traffic than cars. You are driving a heavy vehicle with a manual transmission. You have to stop the vehicle on the shoulder while driving on an uphill grade. Which of these is a good rule to follow when putting it back in motion up the grade? A. Keep the clutch slipping while slowly accelerating. B. Use the parking brake to hold the vehicle until the clutch engages. C. Let the vehicle roll backwards a few feet before you engage the clutch, but turn the wheel so that the back moves away from the roadway. Correct answer: use the parking brake to hold the vehicle until the clutch engages. You are driving a heavy vehicle. You must exit a highway using an off-ramp that curves downhill. You should A. Slow down to a safe speed before the curve. B. Slow to the posted speed limit for the off-ramp. C. Wait until you are in the curve before downshifting. Correct answer: slow down to a safe speed before the curve. You must park on the side of a level, straight, 4-lane divided highway. Where should you place the reflective triangles? A. One within 10 feet of the rear of the vehicle, one about 100 feet to the rear, and one about 200 feet to the rear. B. One within 10 feet of the rear of the vehicle, one about 100 feet to the rear, and one about 100 feet to the front. C. One within 10 feet of the front of the vehicle, one about 100 feet to the rear, and one about 200 feet to the rear. Correct answer, one within 10 feet of the rear of the vehicle, one about 100 feet to the rear, and one about 200 feet to the rear. You are driving on a two-lane road. An oncoming driver drifts into your lane and is headed straight for you. Which of these is most often the best action to take? A. Hard braking. B. Steer to the right. C. Steer onto the left shoulder. Correct answer, steer to the right. Brake fade. A. Can be caused by the brakes getting very hot. B. Can be corrected by letting up on the brakes for 1 to 2 seconds and then reapplying them. C. Is a problem that only occurs with drum brakes. Correct answer, can be caused by the brakes getting very hot. Which of these statements about engine overheating is true? A. You should never shut off an overheated engine until it cools. B. You should never remove the radiator cap on a pressurized system until the system is cooled. C. Antifreeze is not needed when the weather is warm. Correct answer, you should never remove the radiator cap on a pressurized system until the system is cooled. Which of these statements about overhead clearance is true? A. You should assume posted clearance signs are correct. B. The weight of a vehicle changes its height. C. If the road surface causes your vehicle to tilt toward objects at the edge of the road, you should drive close to the shoulder. Correct answer, the weight of a vehicle changes its height. Which of these statements about vehicle fire is true? A. If cargo in a van or box trailer catches on fire, you should open the cargo door as soon as possible. B. If your engine is on fire, you should open the hood as soon as you can. C. A burning tire should be cooled with water. Correct answer, a burning tire should be cooled with water. You are driving a long vehicle that makes wide turns. You want to turn left from one street onto another. Both are two-lane two-way streets. You should A. Begin turning your vehicle as soon as you enter the intersection. B. Begin turning your vehicle when you are halfway through the intersection. C. Turn into the left lane of Poplar Street, and then move to the right lane when the traffic is clear. Correct answer, begin turning your vehicle when you are halfway through the intersection. You must drive on a slippery road. Which of these is a good thing to do in such a situation? A. Use a smaller following distance. B. Apply the brakes while on curves. C. Slow down gradually. Correct answer, slow down gradually. Which of these statements about acceleration is true? A. When traction is poor, more power should be applied to the accelerator. B. Rough acceleration can cause mechanical damage. C. You should feel a jerking motion if you accelerate your vehicle properly. Correct answer, rough acceleration can cause mechanical damage. Which of these statements about brakes is true? A. The heavier a vehicle, or the faster it is moving, the more heat the brakes have to absorb to stop it. B. Brakes have more stopping power when they get very hot. C. Brake drums cool very quickly when the vehicle is moving very fast. Correct answer, the heavier a vehicle, or the faster it is moving, the more heat the brakes have to absorb to stop it. When the roads are slippery, you should A. Make turns as gently as possible. B. Stop and test the traction while going uphill. C. Decrease the distance that you look ahead of your vehicle. Correct answer, make turns as gently as possible. You are checking your brakes and suspension system for a pre-trip inspection. Which of these statements is not true? A. Brake shoes should have brake fluid on them. B. One missing leaf in a leaf spring can be dangerous. C. A cracked drum should be replaced. Correct answer: brake shoes should have brake fluid on them. The driver's manual suggests several things to do when you pass a vehicle. Which of these is not one of them? A. Lightly tap your horn. B. At night, turn on your high beams before you start to pass and leave them on until you have complete. C. Assume that the other driver does not see you. Correct answer: at night, turn on your high beams before you start to pass and leave them on until you have complete. The distance that you should look ahead of your vehicle while driving amounts to about -miles at normal highway speed. A. 1/8. B. 1/4. C. 1/2. Correct answer: 1/4. You are starting your vehicle in motion from a stop. As you apply power to the drive wheels, they start to spin. You should A. Take your foot off the accelerator. B. Take your foot off the accelerator and apply the brakes. C. Try a lower gear. Correct answer: take your foot off the accelerator. Which of these is the most important thing to remember about emergency braking? A. Disconnecting the steering axle brakes will keep your vehicle in a straight line during emergency braking. B. If the wheels are skidding, you cannot control your vehicle. C. Never do it without downshifting first. Correct answer: if the wheels are skidding, you cannot control your vehicle. Which of these statements about tires and hot weather driving is true? A. You should inspect your tires every 2 hours or every 100 miles when driving in very hot weather. B. The air pressure of a tire decreases as the temperature of the tire increases. C. If tires were too hot to touch, letting 5 or 10 pounds of pressure out would cool them down. Correct answer: you should inspect your tires every 2 hours or every 100 miles when driving in very hot weather. Your vehicle is in a traffic emergency and may collide with another vehicle if you do not take action. Which of these is a good rule to remember at such a time? A. You can almost always turn to miss an obstacle more quickly than you can stop. B. Stopping is always the safest action in a traffic emergency. C. Leaving the road is always more risky than hitting another vehicle. Correct answer: you can almost always turn to miss an obstacle more quickly than you can stop. In which case of fire can you use water to put it out? A. Tire fires. B. Gasoline fires. C. Electrical fires. Correct answer: tire fires. To help you to stay alert while driving, you should A. Schedule trips for hours that you are normally asleep. B. Take short breaks before you get drowsy. C. Take cold medicine if you have a cold. Correct answer: take short breaks before you get drowsy. To avoid a crash, you had to drive into the right shoulder. You are now driving at 40 miles per hour on the shoulder. How should you move back onto the pavement? A. If the shoulder is clear, stay to the right until your vehicle comes to a stop, then move back onto the pavement. B. Brake hard to slow the vehicle, then steer sharply onto the pavement. C. Steer sharply onto the pavement, then brake hard as you counter-steer. Correct answer: if the shoulder is clear, stay to the right until your vehicle comes to a stop, then move back onto the pavement. Which of these statements about driving in areas with strong wind is true? A. You should drive alongside other vehicles to help break up the wind. B. The lighter your vehicle, the less trouble you will have with the wind. C. Winds are especially a problem when coming out of tunnels. Correct answer: winds are especially a problem when coming out of tunnels. Which of these is a good thing to do when driving at night? A. Keep your speed slow enough so that you can stop within the range of your headlights. B. Look only briefly directly at the oncoming headlights. C. Keep your instrument lights bright. Correct answer: keep your speed slow enough so that you can stop within the range of your headlights. You are driving a 40-foot vehicle at 35 miles per hour. The road is dry and visibility is good. What is the least amount of space you should keep in front of your vehicle to be safe? A. 3 seconds. B. 4 seconds. C. 5 seconds. Correct answer: 4 seconds. What is the proper way to hold a steering wheel? A. With both hands close together, near the top of the wheel. B. With both hands close together, near the bottom of the wheel. C. With both hands, on opposite sides of the wheel. Correct answer: with both hands, on opposite sides of the wheel. High beams should be A. Used when it is safe and legal to do so. B. Turned on when an oncoming driver does not dim his or her lights. C. Dimmed at the time you get within 100 feet of another vehicle. Correct answer: used when it is safe and legal to do so. You can see a marking on a vehicle ahead of you. The marking is a red triangle with an orange center. What does the marking mean? A. It may be a slow-moving vehicle. B. The vehicle is hauling hazardous materials. C. It is being driven by a student driver. Correct answer: it may be a slow-moving vehicle. Which of these is not part of the pre-trip inspection of the engine compartment? A. Valve clearance. B. Engine oil level. C. Worn electrical wiring insulation. Correct answer: valve clearance. The road you are driving on becomes very slippery due to the glare ice. Which of these is a good thing to do in such a situation? A. Stop driving as soon as you can safely do so. B. Downshift to stop. C. Keep varying your speed by accelerating and braking. Correct answer: stop driving as soon as you can safely do so. You drive through the heavy rain or snow. You can hardly see what is going on outside. You can let the other drivers know about you by A. Blowing your horn. B. Turning on inside cab lights. C. Turning on the lower beam headlights. Correct answer: turning on the lower beam headlights. You are driving a vehicle that could safely be driven at 55 miles per hour on an open road. However, traffic is heavy and other vehicles are driving at 35 miles per hour, although the speed limit is 55. The safest speed for your vehicle is more likely to be A. 35 miles per hour. B. 45 miles per hour. C. 55 miles per hour. Correct answer: 35 miles per hour. What is counter-steering? A. Turning the steering wheel counterclockwise. B. Using the steering axle brakes to prevent oversteering. C. Turning the wheel back in the other direction after steering to avoid a traffic emergency. Correct answer: turning the wheel back in the other direction after steering to avoid a traffic emergency. Which of these statements about backing a heavy vehicle is true? A. You should avoid backing whenever you can. B. Helpers should be out of the driver's sight, and they should use only voice, spoken, signals to communicate. C. It is safer to back toward the right side of the vehicle than toward the driver's side. Correct answer: you should avoid backing whenever you can. Which of these statements about marking a stopped vehicle is true? A. If a hill or curve keeps drivers behind you from seeing the vehicle within 500 feet, the rear reflective triangle should. B. You do not need to put out reflective triangles unless the vehicle will be stopped for 30 minutes or more. C. The vehicle's taillights should be kept on to warn other drivers. Correct answer: if a hill or curve keeps drivers behind you from seeing the vehicle within 500 feet, the rear reflective triangle should. Which of these best describes how you should use the brake pedal on a steep downhill grade? A. Light, pumping action. B. Light, steady pressure. C. Repeated strong pressure then release. Correct answer: light, steady pressure. Which of these statements about using turn signals is true? A. You do not need to use your turn signal when changing lanes in traffic on a 4-lane highway. B. When turning, you should signal early. C. You should use your turn signal to mark your vehicle when it is pulled off on the side of the road. Correct answer: when turning, you should signal early. Which of these statements about double clutching and shifting is true? A. You can use the tachometer to tell you when to shift. B. Double clutching should not be used when the road is slippery. C. Double clutching should only be used with a heavy load. Correct answer: you can use the tachometer to tell you when to shift. Which of these statements about speed management is true? A. Empty trucks always stop in a shorter distance than fully loaded ones. B. When you double your speed, go twice as fast, it will take twice the distance to stop. C. You should choose a speed that lets you stop within the distance that you can see ahead. Correct answer: you should choose a speed that lets you stop within the distance that you can see ahead. Retarders. A. Can cause the driver wheels to skid when they have poor traction. B. Cause extra brake wear. C. Work when you apply the brake pedal. Correct answer: can cause the driver wheels to skid when they have poor traction. To correct a drive wheel braking skid, you should A. Stop braking, turn quickly, then counter steer. B. Increase braking. C. Increase braking, turn quickly, and counter steer. Correct answer: stop braking, turn quickly, then counter steer. When exiting or entering on a curved freeway ramp, you should A. Maintain a speed 5 to 10 miles per hour under the posted speed limit. B. Maintain the posted speed limit. C. Slow down to at least 50% of the posted speed limit. Correct answer: maintain a speed 5 to 10 miles per hour under the posted speed limit. Which of the following vehicles will have the longest stopping distance? A. Empty truck. B. Loaded truck. C. Bobtail tractor. Correct answer: bobtail tractor. How many red reflective triangles are you required to carry? A. 2. B. 3. C. 4. Correct answer: 3. You are required to inspect your truck within how many miles after beginning the trip? A. 100. B. 150. C. 25. Correct answer: 25. There are two types of jackknives, they are A. Trailer. B. Tractor. C. Both A and B. Correct answer: both A and B. The new BAC, blood alcohol concentration, for commercial drivers to be considered intoxicated when driving a commercial vehicle is A. 0.04. B. 0.01. C. 0.10. Correct answer: 0.04. Where should the ignition key be during the pre-trip inspection? A. In your pocket. B. In the ignition. C. On the driver's seat. Correct answer: in your pocket. Thanks for watching CDL General Knowledge 2025. If this video helped you, please like, comment, and subscribe for more CDL test prep and trucking tips. Turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Have questions or want more practice tests? Drop them in the comments below. Good luck on your CDL exam. and see you in the next video.